Hey guys, what's up? It's Solo's Destiny. Today, we're going to be starting off a new series as we talk about Gambit. So let's get into it. Let's start going through. Let's talk about Destiny. Gambit. So, if you guys don't know, Gambit is a PvE VP mode, which is basically, it is you kill things and then you have the chance to go into PvP if you decide to. And that's basically all the mode is. You kill stuff, you summon a boss, you try to kill it, and in between you're going to have invaders coming from different sides. Now, while it sounds like a good game mode on paper, in practice it's actually been quite messy, and the purpose of this new series is going to be deep diving into the different parts of Destiny, breaking down the goods, the bads, and then having a conclusion that basically ties everything into a neat bow of what we could do, in my own opinion, to actually save different parts of the game. Now, if I do cover a part of the game which you find, still okay to this day, for example, the next episode is going to be about raids. They're not bad, it's just we're going to be going over how they could either improve more in the future or, just continue on a path of trying to improve a lot of the bad parts of the game. But in this one, we're going to be touching on Gambit, and as I said, we're going to be going through the goods and the bads and giving a conclusion. So, yeah, let's get started. Alright guys, so to get us started, we're going to be looking at the goods of the Gambit game mode. Now, the good things of the Gambit game mode, I'm going to be real with you, are definitely outweighed by the negatives. But we're going to look at them anyway based on new players and also veteran players, what you can do and what you can get. So, the biggest one is it's the only mode that is PvEVP. Now, player versus environment versus player. So it's the middle ground between PvE and PvP without switching modes. Next thing, it teaches a lot of new players how to do teamwork. Not as much as it used to when Gambit Prime was a thing, but it does at least decently teach them, to work with their team to kill bosses and things like that. And speaking of bosses, the next point is it teaches more mechanics, like the depositing or dunking as people call it. It also teaches, elemental shields. It teaches health bars and boss bars and things like that. And then, it just helps newer players understand the game a bit. And they did add the tips about what it's about, but it's still nice to have, at least kind of a, oh hey, this is what you can do, blah 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 blah. And then it does help level crafted guns through the Enclave. I don't remember the exact percentage that it helps, but it does help with the crafted guns if you're using them throughout, the Gambit match. It helps for you to get a new armor set to collect, although it is reprised, which I am touching on in the bad. There are Gambit specific perks in the origin traits, and those help with invaders. I haven't seen one yet that helps with envoys or primeval, but if you do get one of those, leave it in the comments below. And yeah, it also gives you pinnacles, which you have to complete, I believe, 3. But pinnacles aren't really going to help if you're not enjoying the mode. But unfortunately, that's it for the good list, really. So we're going to move on to the bad list. Okay, let's talk about the bad. Now, I was writing this list as I was recording the different parts. And my god, the bad list almost triumphs over the good list. And this is to be expected because, like I said, Gambit has been going downhill since the removal of Gambit Prime. And we'll actually talk about that not only here in the bad, but also in the conclusion. But let's get down and dirty with the bad things about Gambit. So, first off, boss burn. Now, if you guys don't know the term boss burn, it's basically what happens when people find the OP strategy to kill a boss in less time. So, for example, with Raid, it's like Izanagi's Burden, Thunder Crash Supers, and then Guided Rockets, Gallowhorn, and Divinity. That's how you do a lot of damage to Rolk in the raid. Well, with Gambit, if you do something like that, you can kill the Gambit Primeval in like 10 seconds. And this has been an issue. They've addressed it, they've tried to address it, but that led into the second issue, which was the envoys coming back up and giving the boss shield when you can't do any damage. So say an invader comes in, wipes out your whole team, you just killed the envoys, you pop back up to try to do DPS to the Primeval, and boom, the envoys are back up. And those envoys give him a shield again, you can't do anything. And that has irritated a lot of people to the point they don't want to play Gambit because the Primeval always has shield. Now, this one isn't as prevalent as it used to be, but 4 stacks in Gambit are the worst to go against when you're a solo player because you don't know anyone on your team and you're just going to get stomped half the time unless you're running something ridiculously stupid. That's just going to be OP the entire time. Now, the next point is going to be one I've had an issue with even back when I was originally playing Gambit when it came out with Forsaken. And still happens to this day because we actually just had a new one pop up that a lot of people are not too keen about and actually feels really kind of dirty to use. So, exotic trials weapons, time loss weapons, or just OP loadouts in general run rampant in Gambit. And what I mean by this is, so back when I was playing it in Forsaken, there was the Queensbreaker bow, and that used to destroy Gambit, and what I used to use to counter it was the Black Talon, and I used to just spam the Black Talon's energy waves to people who were using Queensbreaker in the back of the map, and it used to track aggressively. Now, of course, they nerfed the tracking, they also increased recoil on Queensbreaker, but now, in today's Gambit, you have to worry about Ariana's Vow one-shotting you when somebody invades, which is another issue. And you also have to worry about Trials weapons, which are used for PvP methods, and are going to also have a big impact on you because you're going to be having to go against someone who's running the pinnacle activity for PvP, whereas you're jumping into a PvP, based activity. They're gonna just floor you with something that they've been playing for a while. And if you're new, it's gonna be very discouraging to get flattened by someone like that. Anyway, next one is a big one for me, and it's the reason why I've kind of been out of Gambit for a bit. There's no real incentive for Gambit. Like, I'm sorry, Bungie, you can, edit the bounties, you could edit the Gambit ranks to make them more like the Vanguard or Trials or PvP or what have you, but there's just no incentive. Like, I looked at the armor, I'm like, oh, this armor looks cool, and you realize, oh, this is just the PvE armor with like a different decal on it now. Like, it used to just be the same armor across the board with a little difference, and it still is, except this one, the Gambit one now has a snake on it, where the Vanguard has the Vanguard symbol on it, and I believe the PvP one has a Crucible symbol on it. And this is gonna probably get brought up in PvP videos and the PvE videos. Bungie, please, for the love of God, bring back different armors for different activities. Give us something to actually work towards. Hell, give us a basic armor set and let us do what we do with the Dawning event, or the or the Revelry, or whatever it's called. Let us do what we do with those. Because if you let us do that throughout, like, say, a season, or hell, even a whole year, people will actually enjoy that. Because, like, when you see someone with this, like, cool, fully fleshed out Gambit set, they're going to be playing Gambit a lot. But since you took out Gambit Prime stuff, it's felt like there's nothing to do in Gambit. Right now, the only new things you get in Gambit is the reprised armor that's throughout PvE, PvP, and Gambit, and then you have origin traits, and then what else? Bounties, and maybe Ascendant shards, or and then the memento. And after you do that, that's it. That's the end of it. Like, there is no bigger thing to chase. Like, you could go for the Gambit weapon, but it's still the same as the PvE and PvP weapon. Like, that's the thing, is if you want Gambit to stand out, and I'll go into more of this in the conclusion, you need to give us something different. And this next one goes into the same thing. There is no more titles for Gambit other than Dredgen. And Dredgen's a cool title and all. You know, the Drifter used to have it. But we should probably be putting more titles into all of the core modes rather than just giving us not only the option to guild things, give us some new way to play the game that we can get a title for. Like, you had different, ways to play the game in Prime. Why not give us titles based on those way to play? Or just bring us Prime back. Like, at this point, it's just weird that these incentives gone, but it's being revamped anyway. Next thing we're gonna talk about is heavy ammo. Bungie, please turn down the heavy ammo. People should not be running into invasions like almost full heavy ammo, especially with next point, Gallahorn or tracker rockets or clusters, whatever have you, that just one-shot people no matter what, that track super hard, with heavy ammo as high as it is. Like, there's no need for that much heavy ammo. Another thing that's an issue is the invasion portal not working really well when you're losing. And I've had this happen a couple of times, or actually no, like a lot of times, even way back when, where you'll be losing really heavily and they'll have their primeval almost dead and you have 50 motes and these portal won't spawn whatsoever. And you're just like, okay, that sucks. I'm just gonna, not play anymore because that seems like it's broken. Another one's kind of, I guess, an issue I've seen with people trying to do dredging or certain, things that they need to do for catalysts or something like that. And that is people hogging the invasion portals. I see people standing by invasion portals so much, it's ridiculous. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you to, put a penalty for people that sit there and hog invasion portals, but, it's a lot. And, again, the final point is going to be something taken out with Prime, which was dedicated roles. With Prime, they gave us 4 dedicated roles, and ever since you taken that out, it seems like people are just randomly running around, either jumping into a portal when they don't want to, or, trying to kill a bunch of enemies and feeling like they're just getting straight up decked in the face by an invader when they don't have anyone to watch for the invader, And that's where I feel like Bungie wholeheartedly just destroyed themselves when they pulled out Prime from Gambit. But enough of that talk in the bad. We're gonna go to the conclusion so I can give you guys my final thoughts on what we could do to save Gambit and make it fun again for people. So let's get into that. Okay, let's talk about the conclusion. So the conclusion I have is we need to go back to Gambit Prime. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with Gambit Prime, I'm going to show some pictures on screen, but there used to be 4 different sets of Gambit armor that correlated to colors, and they also correlated to roles. Now, with these roles had different perks, but each one was very unique and very different from one another. And while it had maybe a little bit of some other junk in there, which they could have changed out for more role-specific stuff, it was still nice. So they had the Reaper the invader, the sentry, and the collector. The collector picked out the moats. The sentry helped the bank and also helped kill ads. The reaper killed ads and made it so then your moats didn't despawn as quickly. And then of course the invader helped kill enemies on the other side and then also came back with a buff to help you kill primeval. Now, the big thing about it is there was a lot of people playing Reapers and Invaders because of either the colors or just the perks. And what they could have done to easily fix that is just swap out a bunch of perks and make it like more specific, or make the other ones like the Collector or the Sentry more worth it, because I felt like the Sentry was kind of lackluster while the Collector was at least usable. The Reaper and the Invader was like the top most used ones, and it was the things that people used the most. And I think bringing Gambit Prime back would actually be really good for Gambit in its current state, because at the current value of Gambit, it literally has no roles. Everybody's just doing random BS. And this goes into like incentive. When Gambit Prime was out, there was incentive. Get a higher power of your armor set. That was the incentive to play, was to get more armor and higher tier armor, which they took out, which I never understood why they took it out. And another thing is titles. Bungie, for the love of God, you gave us different ways to play Gambit. Give us different titles for Gambit. Like, I get it, you like the whole, you get this title, you guild it, but, like, guilding Dredgen and having to play a specific way that, some people may not want to, is kind of, gonna be real with you, kind of upsetting. Because you have to use certain guns, you have to invade, you have to basically play every single role in Gambit to get the Dredgen title gilded. And if people don't want to do that, then you're not going to get it gilded. And that's why I feel like the different roles should have their own titles. And I'm going to touch into some of the stuff like this in PvE, PvP, and stuff along the way. This is just the first episode of this. So basically, yeah, bring back Gambit Prime, bring back the Gambit Prime armor sets, give us new armor sets, at least for Gambit Prime. Give us something that isn't just a rewashed version of other armor sets for PvP and PvE. And while you're at it, give PvE and PvP their own armor sets, please. Like, next with the weapons, honestly, just give us more origin traits. Make them a lot stronger in Gambit. Like, that would probably make it better for people who play Gambit if they had a weapon that showed and, like, felt really nice to have for Gambit. Because right now, it's just bring a OP exotic, bring an OP class, and then be done with it. There is no, like, building based off of Gambit. There is just building based off of the subclass you're using, and then the cheese you want to use. That's where we're at this point. So, give us guns that are actually going to straight up help and aren't reskinned versions with different roles for Gambit. Or, Gambit skins for a gun. Give us actual guns that are specifically for Gambit. And then, give them a perk that, like, either only works in Gambit or is, like, Gambit specific you have to get from Gambit. And I get origin traits are a thing. That's why I said you could put it in the origin trait slot. Next thing is, do another pass over your mechanics. Your heavy drop rate is really high still. Your boss burn, your boss health, honestly, I get you guys have like a specific time you want matches to be done. But if you throw out that timer for matches, you're gonna be able to
Basically
give
actual
people a
fighting.
boss fight worth actually talking about, instead of a, oh look, I found a cheese, your boss is dead.
Or actually, it might
Because
be
at
different.
least then you could introduce new
Yeah,
mechanics, new types of bosses, things like that. You know, you could give it a breath of fresh air and add to it, instead of having people all over YouTube and Twitter, Instagram talking about, oh, how they should
like
remove Gambit. Give us a reason for playing Gambit. Back in Forsaken, the reason why people played is because they wanted malfeasance, they wanted the armor sets, they wanted the title. But now that Forsaken's gone and you've taken out everything, if you want to save the mode, you need to give us things to do, and you need to fix what's currently wrong with it. Revamping it like it's Trials, or giving it the freelance and everything else is great and all, but the thing is people want incentive, and people want things or items to chase after, and to not feel like they're outclassed by someone who's playing other modes that aren't Gambit. And that's the big thing is,
yeah, it's a little different.
if someone's gonna come in from PvP or Grandmaster Nightfall PvE and just slay Gambit, then there's no point in people playing Gambit.
My guess is we're about to go.
Because if I can't get better at Gambit by playing it, and all I'm gonna do is play my 3 games for the pinnacle and then just go do something else. And that's where I think the connection is lost, is that we need Bungie to realize that Gambit needs a revamp that isn't Trials revamp, but it's a full revamp rework of the mode, either back to Forsaken or a reworked version of Prime that isn't advertised as competitive Gambit and just its own Gambit in this case. And then I think you'll get a lot better in reality. Like, I feel like Gambit can get a lot better, but as always, the conclusion is my own personal thoughts, so take it with a grain of salt. It might not be personally what you're looking for, but it is my thoughts of what they could do to make it more incentive-based and more, you know, people wanting to play the mode. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, comment down below what is the thing you want most out of Gambit. And guys, don't forget to subscribe for more Let's Talk About Destiny. Next episode should be about raids. I don't know when it's going to be out, but I will work on it. And I'll probably try to get some footage from Val the Disciple for it. So, anyway, I will see you guys later.